Welcome back to our channel. It is a truly fascinating day to dive deep into the drama of Genoa City. Let's get right into it. You know, sometimes you watch a scene unfold and you feel the air get completely sucked out of the room. That's exactly what it feels like looking at this emergency meeting Victor Newman just called at Newman Tower. Just picture the sheer, suffocating tension in that boardroom. The cold, impenetrable glass walls, the heavy silence hanging in the air before the storm breaks, the polished mahogany table reflecting the harsh overhead lights. It all just sets the stage for a corporate execution. Victor sits there at the head of the table, projecting this aura of absolute, terrifying control. He's a man who has just pulled his own sons out of a burning, explosive death trap in Las Vegas, so you can only imagine the dark, ruthless frequency he is operating on right now. He has absolutely zero patience left for corporate games, and you can see it in his eyes. That cold, dead stare that promises total annihilation. And then there is Phyllis. Phyllis Summers walking into that room with all her usual fire, that trademark swagger that we all know so well. Completely unaware that she is stepping right into a meticulously crafted graveyard. It just makes you feel a strange, complex mix of pity and dread. She has spent months clawing her way to the top, alienating everyone, burning bridges, and wrapping her fingers around the Newman throne. She genuinely thought she had outsmarted the great Victor Newman. That hubris, that massive, blinding pride. It's always been her tragic flaw. You watch her strident, chin held high, ready to spar, and you just want to scream at the screen. Turn around, run, but she doesn't. She walks right into the jaws of the trap, entirely oblivious to the fact that Victor hasn't just beaten her. He has systematically dismantled her entire reality, the moment Victor calmly presses that button to activate the massive screen in the boardroom. It's just chilling. He doesn't yell. He doesn't need to raise his voice. He just lets the technology do the talking. The AI-generated videos that start playing are. Honestly, they are terrifying when you really stop and think about the implications. It's a flawless deepfake. We are watching a digital phantom of Phyllis Summers, looking exactly like her, wearing her clothes, using her exact mannerisms, and speaking with her unmistakable voice. In the video, this digital Phyllis is actively, explicitly handing over bribes to high-level officials to secure her hostile takeover of Newman Enterprises. It is so seamless, so perfectly rendered, that if you didn't already know Victor had commissioned this artificial intelligence program, you would bet your own life that it was real. Watching Phyllis react to this, it's incredibly visceral. You can physically feel the sheer, explosive panic bubbling up inside her chest. She starts screaming. Of course she does. She's pacing the length of the room, her heels clicking frantically against the floor, pointing trembling fingers at the screen. It's a fake, it's manufactured, it's a deep fake. Her voice echoes off the cold glass walls, filled with this raw, desperate indignation. But it's like she is screaming underwater. The sound just doesn't travel. Nobody in that room is listening to her truth. Victor just sits there, steepling his fingers, watching her unravel with this chillingly calm, almost bored expression. He lets her exhaust herself, lets her scream until her throat is raw, because he knows that her denial means absolutely nothing against the trap he has built. Because Victor Newman never just builds a simple trap. He builds an inescapable labyrinth. Just when Phyllis thinks she might be able to prove that the videos are digital forgeries, maybe hire a tech expert to analyze the pixels, Victor drops the real guillotine. He slowly, deliberately slides physical folders across the table, bank statements, reading numbers, offshore wire transfers, and this is the part that genuinely makes your stomach drop. Every single financial transaction in those folders matches the exact dates, times, and amounts discussed in the fake AI videos. It's a masterpiece of total destruction. He didn't just frame her with a video, he created an entirely alternate, verifiable financial reality where she is undeniably guilty of federal crimes. The psychological impact of that realization hitting Phyllis is just devastating to witness. You can see the exact moment the fight starts to drain out of her, the realization that the truth, the actual, objective truth of her innocence in this specific bribery, simply does not matter anymore. The evidence is too perfect. Victor has essentially hacked the justice system, using his limitless resources to weave a web of lies so tight that not even the best defense attorney in the world could entangle it. She is staring at pieces of paper that prove she did something she never did, and the sheer helplessness of that situation, it's suffocating. It makes you realize just how terrifyingly powerful Victor truly is when he decides to erase someone. But then, oh, the absolute gut punch of the scene. The shadows in the corner of the room shift, and there she is. Christine Blair, the newly reinstated district attorney. When you think about the history between these two women, it actually gives you chills. I mean, we are talking about decades of pure, unadulterated, violent hatred. We all remember the history. Phyllis literally ran Christine down with a rental car all those years ago. She stole Danny Romolodi. She made Christine's life a living, waking nightmare for years. And now, by some twist of cruel, poetic fate, Christine is the one standing in the Newman boardroom, holding the keys to a federal penitentiary. The look on Christine's face, it's not just professional duty. It's vindication. It's decades of karma finally coming to collect. You really have to wonder what is going through Christine's mind at that exact moment. Does she know the evidence is artificially generated? Does she suspect that Victor fabricated the entire thing? Honestly, I don't think she cares. I really don't. When you have that much bad blood, that much historical trauma inflicted upon you by one person, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth, especially when that horse is handing you the head of your worst enemy on a silver platter. Christine's presence in that room is Victor's ultimate psychological weapon. It's his way of looking Phyllis in the eye and saying, "Look who is going to prosecute you. You think she show you an ounce of mercy. You think she dig deep to expose my AI program. Not a chance." It's brilliant, and it's deeply, deeply ruthless. And you just can't help but think about Michael Baldwin in all of this. Phyllis's best friend, her fiercely loyal attorney. He had literally just warned her about this. He had seen the AI evidence. He knew about the bribe department heads ready to testify against her, and he knew Christine was waiting in the wings. He looked Phyllis in the eye and begged her, practically pleaded with her, to surrender. He told her the legal trap was inescapable. But Phyllis wouldn't listen. She never listens. Her pride is a fatal disease that blinds her to reality. And now, standing in this cold room, completely isolated, abandoned by her staff, who Victor already bought off, cornered by her greatest rival and her oldest enemy, she has to realize that Michael was right. She is entirely, hopelessly alone. Then comes the ultimatum. Victor's voice drops to that low, gravelly whisper that just freezes the blood in your veins. He doesn't scream. He just states a fact. He tells her she has exactly two choices. She signs the transfer papers right now, returning every single share of Newman Enterprises to its rightful owner, or he hands those perfect, damning folders directly to Christine Blair. And the Summers name is completely wiped off the business map, erased, like she never even existed in the corporate world. He threatens to destroy her legacy, her freedom, and her entire identity in one single stroke. The coldness of his delivery is just staggering. It's the voice of a god deciding the fate of a mortal who dared to challenge him. You can literally see the brutal, agonizing war raging behind Phyllis's eyes as the weight of those words crushed her. It's devastating to watch. Her pride. Her massive, defining pride that has fueled her survival for her entire life, is screaming at her to fight, to flip the table, to declare war and go down swinging, but her primal instinct to survive. And maybe, just maybe, the sudden, terrifying thought of her children, Summer and Daniel. The thought of them having to visit their mother behind reinforced glass in a federal prison again. Daniel is already panicking. Summer is desperately trying to find a way to save her. And Phyllis knows that if she fights this, she will lose them. She will lose years of her life. For the first time in a very, very long time, Phyllis Summers looks small, cornered, utterly, completely defeated. The tragedy of her situation really washes over you in these final moments. She played the corporate game. She manipulated the board. She stole the company. But she forgot that she was playing against the master of the game. She brought checkers to a chess match against a grandmother who owns the board, the pieces, and the table itself. This isn't just a loss for Phyllis, it is a total, humiliating subjugation. Victor hasn't just taken back his company. He has broken her spirit, forcing her to swallow her pride in front of the woman she hates most in this world. The absolute checkmate is so thorough that it leaves no room for a counterattack. The silence in that boardroom after the ultimatum is laid out. It's deafening. You can almost hear the hum of the air conditioning, the slight rustle of the forged bank documents as Christine flips through them with this cold, satisfied smirk. Victor slowly slides a heavy, gold monogrammed pin across the polished mahogany table. It rolls with this agonizingly slow, deliberate precision, stopping right in front of Phyllis. It's not just a pen, it's an instrument of unconditional surrender. The choice is so stark, so brutally clear. Sign away her life's work, her ego, her temporary victory. or walk out of that room in handcuffs. You watch her trembling hand hovering over that pen, her eyes darting between Victor's stone-cold face and Christine's triumphant glare, and you just wonder, what is it going to be? Red. What is it going to be?